You asked for it, or some of you asked for it, and here it is. I'm going to do a video today on a quarterback that I covered last season, Zach Wilson, and whether or not the Rams should acquire him this offseason. Before we dive into it, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. You can follow me at Ellenbogen, and you can check out, of course, my podcast. A link is in the description. So let's talk about it. This one really intrigues me here. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to go into it. I'm going to explain the ins and outs of Zach Wilson to the Rams, whether this would make any sort of sense, whether they should do it, where it came from, the origin of this. It's not a rumor, okay? A rumor would have you believe that this could happen. Someone said something, they heard something. This is a suggestion that was made by an NFL Hall of Famer, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the position, Steve Young. Steve Young went to school at BYU. Well, that is where Zach Wilson played his college ball. So there is some sort of bias there. But I'm on Steve Young's side, because let me just first start off by saying I think Zach Wilson has a lot of talent. I don't think, you can really evaluate too much of what he was able to do with the Jets, considering it was the Jets. I mean, we'll get into exactly what I mean by that. I covered them last season. I have a soft spot for them, but I'm just telling it like it is. And let's just dive into it. He's going to be 25 in August. The way I see it is this. The reason it came up is, first off, Steve Young was asked, was talking about, Zach Wilson, and he said he needs to go to LA to figure things out. He needs to go with Sean McVay. Now, I don't know if he knew at the time, like when he was saying this, did he figure, Mike LaFleur was going to be there, whether that would be an issue. I don't know if he's just discarding it. He worked with Mike LaFleur in 2022, okay? Big reason LaFleur was fired. I'm going to put it bluntly. He went 5-4 that year, Zach Wilson did, but a lot of those wins came from a really good defense that got even better this year. So here's the deal. Watching Zach Wilson, he's got the talent. He really does. And we've seen it. He's flashed it this year. He's flashed in games before. But let's just say, for starters, he's going to be 25 next year. He's going to be a free agent, because if the Rams made this trade, in no way, shape, or form would they ever pick up that fifth-year option. You just don't do that. It would be like $18-19 million against the cap for an additional fifth year next year. You don't know how things are going to go down, but I can tell you there are better options if, God forbid, you have to move on from Stafford next year for whatever reason. Maybe he retires. $19 million a year for Zach Wilson for 1 year is stupid. They're not doing that. So the fifth-year option's out the window. What you're getting is either a guy that you're going to develop, maybe long-term, could end up being the starting quarterback of the Rams after Stafford, or you're getting a rental. Okay, that's really what it comes down to. So my first thing would be, I think the Rams should look at this and really think about it. If they were going to make this move, okay, is Carson Wentz not coming back? Because to me, Zach Wilson's your backup. You trade for a guy like Zach Wilson, he is your backup. You're not getting Carson Wentz. You're not getting Gardner Minshew. You're not getting any of those guys. He is your backup, and you have to be okay with that. And if you're okay with that, okay. But look, the Rams right now, their picks, they have a first round, a second round, a third round, an additional third round because of Raheem Morris, a fifth round. They don't have a fourth round because of the trade for Kevin Dotson. They have a fifth round from the Steelers for Kevin Dotson, so 2 fifths. And then they have another fifth in Baker Mayfield, the compensatory pick, which they're expected to get, which is 3 fifths. And then they have 3 sixes with Matt Gay, Nick Scott, and A'Shawn Robinson, all expected to bring home compensatory picks. So with that said, this isn't a rumor. This is a report. It sounds that Zach Wilson is going to bring in a late round pick at best for the Jets. And I don't know if you saw the Best Western comments. I thought that was a little tasteless. And of course, oh, that's really funny. I always love that. Anonymous executive quotes where they're like, oh, well, I'll take a Best Western stay. I would trade him for a Best Western stay, or whatever the hell he said. Just really lame. Like, I can already feel the lame energy coming off that person. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, does Zach Wilson make any sort of sense for the Rams? Yes, he does. 100%. Absolutely. I mean, 150%. I would take Zach Wilson right now. Trading for Zach Wilson, late round pick. You give up one of those 6th round compensatory picks, right? So you trade for Zach Wilson, okay? I would trade for Zach Wilson over drafting any quarterback in this draft. And the reason I say that is because the Rams need to focus on building the team around Matthew Stafford right now for the immediate future. We're not talking about the long term, okay? I mean, don't get me wrong. If a guy like Jaden Daniels falls, then you have a conversation. A guy like Caleb Williams falls, you have a conversation. Drake May, you have a conversation. But if you're thinking late round pick, why don't you just trade for Zach Wilson? He's going to be 25 in August. He's still got plenty of football left in the tank. And we've seen enough where it's not that he's just not getting it, because we've seen games where he has just been in his element. But let's talk about it, because with the Rams, like, I'm giving up a 6th rounder right now. I don't think you can. You'd have to wait until you get the compensatory pick added to your, account or whatever the hell they want to call it, because they haven't awarded them yet. But we all know how it's going to go. And the bottom line is Rams need a backup behind Stafford. And to me, I don't think they should waste capital on Wilson. And I'll say this, I'm all for bringing back Wentz. But if you're looking in the short term and the long term, this is why I like the Wilson trade. But make one thing very clear, okay? If you're going to go out and get Wilson, you need a plan. Like, you need to sign him, and you need to let him know, like, we need a deal here. If we're not going to, waste all of our resources, we're not going to waste draft picks to build you up into a really good backup, have Stafford play every game this year, and have you go off and become a starter and be great. Okay, we need to get something for our investment. And I think with Wilson, he's not really valued right now. His value's super low is the point. So I don't think that'd be an issue. And I think that he could see, okay, there's a chance here with the Rams. I need to take it. And I need to sit here. And I'm sure that's what Baker would have done if he knew he couldn't become a starter. But Wilson's still young. Being around Sean McVay, being around Matthew Stafford, being back with Mike LaFleur might help. So can McVay and LaFleur fix Wilson? I think they can. I don't see why not. The question is, though, would LaFleur want to fix Wilson? And furthermore, another question, is there any ill will between LaFleur and Wilson? And I think that's a fair ask. So I saw an article from Zach Rosenblatt, who he wrote this. He covers the Jets for USA Today, or not USA, excuse me, The Athletic. He wrote this last year, 2023, and it was a great article. You definitely should check it out. The situation, he explains that Mike LaFleur didn't really have a falling out with Wilson, because when you hear falling out, you think like, torches and pitchforks. No, it was nothing like that. It's just Wilson. It honestly kind of reminded me of Jared Goff and Sean McVay. MLF wanted him to do this, and Wilson was doing this. And unfortunately, it was really, really limiting what LaFleur could call. And because of that, he ended up really dumbing down the playbook for Wilson. And then he told him just straight up, like, if you don't have your first read open or your second read open, just tuck it and run it. And that, of course, that led to the whole Elijah Moore blow up, which everyone knows about. So my point is, LaFleur tried to make it work. And what I would say is, and Rosenblatt did a really good job of explaining this, is that in his piece, it wasn't necessarily that he was mean to Wilson or anything. He gave him more of a tough love approach as a coach instead of being that nurturing coach that really Wilson needed. So I think if, LaFleur had a chance to do things differently, I think he would. And he would get that chance if they added him to the Rams roster. So, those are my thoughts. on that, and we'll dive into that. But just a word from our sponsor here. This is Manta Sleep. And Manta Sleep, let me just tell you guys right now, okay? Manta Sleep is awesome. This right here is actually the sound mask. Can be paired Bluetooth right to your phone. And this thing, you get 20 plus hours of battery life. I mean, I never thought I was going to use a sleep mask, but here I am using one. They got C-shaped eye cup, so, you don't have any pressure in your eyes. There's really no pressure at all. Plus, it's 100% blackout. It's engineered for side sleeping, which, I kind of go back and forth. I'm a hybrid sleeper, but I have a lot of side sleeping that I do. It's got these razor thin headphones right here. You slide these. It goes right in your ear hole. It's perfect. Just absolutely love this product. And, I wouldn't be promoting it if I didn't love it. That's the deal. So thank you to Manta Sleep for sending me one of these, first off, because this thing's awesome. But secondly, thank you for sponsoring this video. You guys can go to Manta Sleep, order today. The link is in the description and the comments section. And of course, the promo code is JKBogan. It'll get you 10% off of your purchase. So that is that. We'll get back to the video. All right. So I understand, guys. Some people are probably hearing what I'm saying. They're like, I don't know. I don't love the idea of Mike LaFleur being back with Zach Wilson. Mike LaFleur was heading towards being a head coach, and then Zach Wilson, came along, didn't work, and now Zach Wilson, or not Zach Wilson, but Mike LaFleur didn't even get, coaching interviews. So maybe, it wouldn't be a good fit. And maybe you're right. But here's what I'll say, okay? I think MLF would take another opportunity to make things right. And not because he wanted to make things right. He worked with Wilson. So if he's progressed a little bit and, can pick up the playbook and can learn, I think the biggest issue with Wilson has always been pressure. And I'm going to get into that because I don't just leave videos just like straightforward. I want to have everything that I could touch on a certain topic. That's why we call them these isolated videos. We're isolating a topic, and that's what we're doing. So this is what I'll say. I think Wilson naturally looked better this year at quarterback than any year prior. And that's good. You could say, okay, that makes sense. And obviously, duh, he should be better in year 3. But that's not always the case. I think we saw some good things from Wilson, and I'll get into it, dive into it a little bit. First off, I want to list the excuses. And I want to make it very clear. So there's this negative connotation when you use the word excuse. It's like people now, excuses. No, there's a reason for why things didn't work out. And that's an excuse, okay? And we need to stop saying just, excuses. Oh, you're just using an excuse. Yeah, there's an excuse for why things didn't work out. Now, Wilson has to take accountability, which I think he's done better this year. That's another thing. Last year, didn't take accountability after that one game. They asked, do you put this loss on yourself or, whatever? I forget how it was worded, and he said no, and it really didn't go well with the locker room. Mike White ended up taking over. But this year, it seemed to be better. And, I'll say this, with Zach Wilson, the Jets' offensive line was absolutely putrid. They started off the season with some injuries. They had a huge season-ending injury to Elijah Vera Tucker, who, I'd say he's the best offensive lineman on the team, personally. Just covering them last season, I could tell you that. But they lose him. They go through a bevy of injuries. That offensive line starting combination after combination. And they're 30th in pass protection according to PFF. And then in 2022, before then, with LaFleur, they're working with the 29th rated pass protection according to PFF. And then they were 21st his rookie year. So, look, this year he was sacked third most of any quarterback, and he only played in 12 games, so that's saying something. He was tied for 7th in drop percentage, again, 12 games. Cut down on the turnover-worthy plays this year big time. I think he did a really nice job of that, according to PFF. Adjusted completion percentage has improved yearly for him. And I really can't stress this enough. Nathaniel Hackett was not good this year. Michael LaFleur was better, okay? Michael LaFleur's offense was better. Nathaniel Hackett's was horrible, absolutely horrible. I don't know how they brought him back. I do know how because he's friends with Aaron Rodgers. But good Lord, Hackett was the issue this year more than Wilson, okay? You could make the argument last year. Definitely a lot of that goes on Wilson. Not as much goes on LaFleur. You could say they're both to blame. Hackett was 100% to blame, okay? His play calling was horrible. His offense was horrible, okay? They took a step back, in my opinion. So Zach Wilson, what we saw is on the off chance he was given some time, he could make some plays. And you see that modern day NFL quarterback, the mobile quarterback, that ability that he has, and you think, okay. And then you see his great arm. Like when he has time to really step into his throw, that dude's got a cannon. And you think about it and you're like, he's got tools, man. He's got tools. And he's 24 right now. He'll be 25 in August. And, to me, I think you look at the two games this year against the Houston Texans playoff team, went toe-to-toe with C.J. Stroud, totally outplayed him. 2 touchdowns, 300 yards and 117 passer rating. But I think the most important game and the most impressive game for Zach Wilson this season was on prime time against the Chiefs, who are in the Super Bowl. We'll be seeing them on Sunday. And he went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes, and I think there were some bad calls in that game that cost the Jets the game. But the point I'm making here is they went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes and had 105 passer rating when doing so. He was outstanding in that game. Okay, and you could say, yeah, he's got Garrett Wilson. That's all he's got. He's got Breece Hall. That's all he's got. He's got Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. Alan Lazard barely played. It was just not great this year for the Jets. Nothing went right after Aaron Rodgers went down. By the way, that's another thing. After Aaron Rodgers went down, Zach Wilson might not have looked the best, but he did lead a comeback to win the game against the Bills. Okay? That's another thing. The air out of the stadium when Aaron Rodgers went down, Zach Wilson led them to victory in a very important win opening night and gave just a little bit of, okay, they can do this. They can maybe do this. And the whole year you wondered, are the Jets going to, win some games? And it wasn't a great year, but I think you saw enough from Wilson, especially in those 2 games with Houston and Kansas City, to be like, Zach Wilson with protection, throwing to guys like Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp and Tutu Atwell, handing off the ball to Kyron Williams, having Sean McVay and Michael LaFleur in his corner. I don't know. I'd have to say that would probably work. Just my thoughts. There's a reason why he was taken number 2 overall. There's a reason. And look, he goes to the 49ers, and maybe we're talking about him in the Super Bowl. But maybe not, because we saw Trey Lance. Bad example. Point I'm making is that, yes, you control what you can control, but you can't control where you go in the draft. And Zach Wilson went to a bad spot. I like the Jets. I wouldn't say I'm not they're not my favorite team, obviously, but I like them from covering them. I love their fans. The Jets were the problem. They were the problem with Sam Darnold. They're the problem with Zach Wilson. This is not an easy place to play. You got Woody Johnson, the owner, takes over, does different things, forces Robert Saleh to even fire Mike LaFleur, which I guess good because the Rams got him. They're impulsive. They have an impulsive owner. They have an incredibly difficult media scene. Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson. Who's to say that Zach Wilson can't make it happen somewhere else? For real. So, look, he doesn't have the best stats. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. He does not have the best stats for his career. He just doesn't. He's 12-21, 34 games. He has a 57 completion percentage, 6,293 yards. This is 3 seasons. 23 touchdowns, 25 interceptions, a 73.2 passer rating. What I am so focused on is the fact that he improved. Like, okay, that he was 4-7 this year, 5-4 the year before, 3-10 the year before that. He improved his completion percentage this year, got up to in the 60s, which is a big deal. He threw 2,200 plus yards. He threw 8 touchdowns. Tied for the lowest picks of his career, which is 7. He had a career high passer rating, 77.2. And then you look at his rushing yards. He ran more this year. He had 211. Look, Wilson is not going to come in and be a superstar right away. This is going to take work. But you have the tools there. And if you believe in Sean McVay and Mike LaFleur, and you believe in the magic of sitting behind Matthew Stafford, then you should be all over this type of trade. For a 6th rounder, Zach Wilson as the backup quarterback for Matthew Stafford. Let's just talk about that, full stop, because we know he could be a backup. At the very least, he can back up next year. And if that's the case, then you got a guy that's mobile. You have a guy that would be better than John Wolford, probably better than Bryce Perkins, would be better than, I mean, he'd be way better than Rippon, right? He wouldn't be better than Mayfield, and he wouldn't be better than Wentz. Maybe he could rival Wentz. I don't know. Point I'm making is he's not a bad option at the very least to be a backup. But the excitement is there because what we don't know is we don't know the future. We don't know who's going to take over for Matthew Stafford. Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, for all we know, Sean McVay might just say, you know what? If Stafford retires in 2 years, maybe they go after Kirk Cousins. Like, I have familiarity with Cousins. Maybe they go after somebody in the draft. Maybe they trade for a disgruntled quarterback. Maybe they get Tua Tagovailoa, somebody like that. Who knows? We don't know. But I can tell you right now, it would make me feel good, and I'm sure it'd make you feel good if you're on my side. If the Rams had Wilson developing in the background, sign him to a multi-year deal. You have him developing in the background, Stafford winning a Super Bowl this year or doing his thing, and then when Stafford's ready to hang it up and his contract expires in 2027, Wilson could step right in. I don't know. Food for thought. But personally, I put the stamp of approval on this. 6th round, compensatory pick, make it happen. Zach Wilson reuniting with Mike LaFleur. Again, they don't hate each other. It's more so it just didn't work out. But Zach Wilson's a better quarterback than where LaFleur saw him last. If he puts in the work, he's around guys like Stafford and McVay, I think he can get it done. It'd be a fun reclamation project, that's for sure. But we'll see what ends up happening. So that's going to do it. Appreciate you guys. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Follow me on all social media at JKBogan. Check out my podcast if you want to. Link is in the description. And that's going to do it. So thank you guys, and you guys take care. Later, folks. Do you love talking about the Rams, the NFL, or just want to be a part of a community? Join my free Discord server today. We're over 800 members. We got 24/7 live chat, a level 3 boosted server, the ability to call into JE Live, playing online games with us on Kick streams, toggleable alerts for when I go live on YouTube or Kick so you don't miss a live stream, and exclusive giveaways. Click the link in the description, the comments section, or the link that comes up in the video to learn more and join today.